Ladies and gentlemen, most people spend their entire lives running from the one thing that actually builds success. And that one thing, it's not talent, it's not connections, it's not even luck. It's something Jack Ma discovered when he was literally broke, teaching English for $9 a month. And here's the brutal truth. If you're avoiding it right now, you're basically guaranteeing your own failure. But stay till the end, because I'm going to show you exactly what it is. And more importantly, how to master it so you can build a life that actually matters. Let's go. The one truth everyone avoids talking about. Listen, when Jack Ma was starting out, he had every reason to be afraid. He was rejected from 30 jobs. 30, he applied to Harvard, got rejected. He tried KFC, got rejected. He wanted to work at hotels, and they told him he wasn't good looking enough. But here's what I realized when I studied his journey. He wasn't successful despite rejection. He was successful because of what he did with it. The thing nobody wants to talk about, the thing people spend their whole lives avoiding, is failure itself. Not just failure, but the acceptance of failure, the welcoming of it, the understanding that failure isn't something to dodge. It's the actual curriculum. See, most of us are taught that success is the goal. We chase grades. We chase promotions. We chase Instagram likes. But Jack Ma understood something different. He understood that failure is the prerequisite. Think about a chess player. They don't become great by winning. They become great by losing thousands of games, studying each one, and understanding where they went wrong. That's the pattern. That's always been the pattern. Why people avoid it, and the real price they pay for it. I want to tell you a story. There's a guy I know, smart, really smart, went to a good college, studied engineering, got a stable job. He had an idea for an app, not just any idea, a real idea, something he'd been thinking about for years, but he never built it. Why? Because he was afraid it would fail. He was afraid he'd spend 6 months, maybe a year, and nobody would use it. So instead, he did nothing. And 10 years later, someone else built the exact same app, and it worked. He told me, I wish I had just tried. That's the cost of avoiding failure. It's not just the failure you never experience. It's the life you never build. When we avoid failure, we're really avoiding growth. And without growth, there's no success. There's just existing. Jack Ma calls this the fear of the unknown, and he says it's the biggest killer of potential he's ever seen. Because here's the thing. Failure is actually predictable. It's guaranteed. It's the one thing you can absolutely count on. So why not build your entire strategy around it? Why not expect it, prepare for it, and most importantly, learn from it? When you accept that failure is coming, not if it's coming, but when something incredible happens, you stop being paralyzed by the possibility. You start being prepared for the probability. And that's when you actually move. The Jack Ma case study, Alibaba's first major failure. Okay, so let's talk about Alibaba. That's Jack Ma's company, right? But here's what most people don't know. Alibaba wasn't his first venture. Before Alibaba, Jack Ma started a company called China Pages. It was supposed to be this revolutionary internet service in China. It completely flopped. He invested everything. He recruited his team. He had the vision. He could see the future. But the internet infrastructure in China wasn't ready. The market wasn't ready. Timing was wrong. And it died. By every metric, it was a failure. Total, complete. And you know what Jack Ma did? He didn't wallow. He didn't give up. He didn't say, well, I guess the internet isn't for me. He looked at what went wrong. He understood the lessons. He saw what China needed, not what he thought China needed. And he started again. This time it was Alibaba, and in 1999, with barely any money, working out of a tiny apartment, Jack Ma and 18 people started building. The company that would become one of the biggest in the world literally came out of the ashes of a failure. Not despite the failure. Because of it, the failure taught him what worked. It stripped away the nonsense. It showed him the real opportunity. That's the brutal truth nobody wants to hear. You don't succeed instead of failing. You succeed through failing. And the faster you fail, the faster you learn, the faster you win. The 3-stage breakdown that shows how to turn failure into advantage. So now the real question, how do you actually do this? How do you use failure instead of letting it use you? Jack Ma talks about this concept, and I want to break it down into 3 stages. This is the actual framework. Stage 1, expect it. This is the mental shift. You're not hoping it doesn't happen. You're planning for it to happen. Before you even start, ask yourself, what could go wrong? Not to talk yourself out of it, But to prepare for it, Jack Ma says he never went into a business expecting it to be easy. He expected obstacles. He expected failures. He expected criticism. So when they happened, he wasn't shocked. He wasn't devastated. He was ready. If you start a business, expect some customers to leave. Expect some people to say no. Expect your first version to be rough. It's not pessimism, it's preparation. Stage 2, reframe it. When the failure happens, the question isn't, why did this happen to me? The question is, what is this trying to teach me? That shift is everything. Your business doesn't get the funding, okay? What does that tell you about your pitch or your numbers? Your project fails. What's the gold in that failure? Jack Ma has said, never surrender. It may sound simple, but it's the most important lesson. But surrender to what? To fear. Or surrender to the lesson. When you reframe failure as information instead of judgment, you completely change how you process it. You're not broken, you're not stupid, you're just getting data. And data is valuable. Stage 3, act on it. This is where most people drop the ball. You can expect failure. You can reframe it beautifully. But if you don't use it, it's worthless. You have to actually change something. Your approach, your strategy, your timing, your team, something has to shift. Jack Ma didn't just watch China Pages fail. He watched it, learned from it, and built something completely different with Alibaba. He applied the lessons. So after you fail, the next step isn't to wallow or move on. It's to build on what you learned. It's to iterate, to try again, to get closer. That's the cycle. That's how success actually works. The people who understand this are the ones who win. I want you to think about the people around you who are genuinely successful. Not famous successful. Not rich, by luck successful. But actually genuinely successful, building things, creating value, making a real difference. Most of them have something in common. They have a relationship with failure that's completely different from everyone else. They're not afraid of it. They're familiar with it. Steve Jobs was fired from Apple, the company he founded. Oprah was told she was unfit for television. Her boss said she couldn't read well enough. J.K. Rowling was rejected by 12 publishers. 12. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. And the list goes on and on and on. Do you see the pattern? Every single person who created something meaningful, who built something that lasted, who made an actual impact, they all had a moment where they failed, or many moments, and they didn't stop. Here's why. They realized that the failure wasn't evidence that they couldn't succeed. It was evidence that they were on the right track because they were actually trying. If you're not failing, you're not pushing. If you're not pushing, you're not growing. If you're not growing, you're just watching. And watching other people succeed while you stay comfortable is the real tragedy. Jack Ma says, don't go for money. Don't go for the power. Go for the passion. Because passion will lead you to success. And you know what? Passion requires failure. Because passion means you care enough to try. You care enough to fail. You care enough to try again. You remove a practical challenge to put this into action. So here's what I want to actually happen for you after you watch this. This isn't a feel good and do nothing video. This is a actually change your life video. And it starts with one thing. I want you to identify the one thing you've been avoiding. Not the easy thing. Not the thing you've already tried. The thing that scares you. The thing that feels too risky. The thing you might fail at. Write it down. Right now. Don't wait. Is it starting a business? Is it having the conversation you need to have? Is it applying for the job that seems impossible? Is it putting your work out there? Write it down. And then, I want you to do something radical. I want you to decide to fail at it. Seriously. Decide that it's okay if it doesn't work out. Decide that the failure isn't your identity. It's just information. Jack Ma started Alibaba with 18 people in an apartment. He had almost nothing to lose and everything to learn. You might not have that exact situation, but you do have this moment. You do have this decision. You can keep playing it safe. You can keep avoiding the thing that scares you. Or you can step into it. You can try. You can fail. You can learn. You can try again. And maybe, just maybe, you'll be part of the small percentage of people who actually build something that matters. Here's the practical step. Take the next 48 hours and do one small thing toward that goal. Not perfectly, not with certainty. Just do it. Because that's where it starts. That's where every success story starts. With someone deciding that failing is better than not trying. The final truth that changes how you see everything. As I wrap this up, I want to leave you with the most important thing Jack Ma ever said about this. He said, if you never give up, you still have a chance. And it sounds simple, right? But think about what that really means. It's not if you're talented, you have a chance. It's not if you have money, you have a chance. It's not if you're lucky, you have a chance. It's if you refuse to quit, if you refuse to accept defeat as your final answer, if you view every setback as a setup for a comeback, then you have a chance. And that chance is the most valuable thing in the world, because a chance is all you need. Talent can be developed. Money can be earned. Luck can be created through preparation and opportunity. But a chance only comes to people who are still in the game. And the only way to stay in the game is to make peace with failure, to accept it, to learn from it, to use it. That's not just Jack Ma's philosophy. That's the philosophy of every single person who ever built something real. So here's my question for you. What are you waiting for? What's the failure you're avoiding? Because I'm telling you right now that failure is not your enemy. It's your teacher. And the sooner you sit down and learn the lesson, the sooner you actually start winning. All right. If this video hit you, if something in here clicked and you want to actually apply this, drop a comment below. Tell me what's the one thing you've been avoiding. What's the failure that's been holding you back? Because I read every single comment and I want to know what you're working toward. And then, if you want more content like this, stuff that's actually practical, actually useful, not just motivational fluff, hit that subscribe button. I drop videos every week about building real things, overcoming obstacles, and creating the life you actually want. Also hit that like button. It helps this message reach more people who need to hear it. And if you know someone who's been playing it safe, who's been afraid to try, send this to them, because they need to hear this. They need to know that the path to success isn't around failure. It's through it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Keep pushing, keep learning, and most importantly, keep trying. Cheers.